monthly webinar series. So I'm going to go through an agenda here with everybody, give you a little bit of information about what we're going to cover today, and then we're going to dig right into the content. So we're going to go through who's going to be talking to you and a little bit about who Unitiv is, and then I'm going to turn it over to our friend Dixie, who's going to go through the solution that we're offering to you. But throughout this whole presentation, you should have a client there that allows you to type in questions. So please, by all means, we've got everybody muted just to make this run smoothly, but if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please just type it into your client there, and Dixie or I will be monitoring that along with Crystal, our Director of Marketing, to try to answer your questions, immediately, or we'll hold them and take some questions at the end of the session. So don't be bashful. Please ask any questions you like, and then we'll close up at the end. So I am Craig Alger. I'm the Director of Engineering for Unitiv. I manage our professional services and most of our technology solutions. And Dixie is a Sales Development Manager working with IBM, previously with Nirvonics, and she's our product specialist today, and she's going to be telling you a bit about this product that we're talking about. So if I'll give you a little history of who Unitiv is, some of you may or may not even know who we are. So we've been around for about 15 years. We are the conglomeration of two previous Sun VARs, ITS and Utopian. When Oracle took over Sun, we diversified our portfolio to include a number of other solutions, including IBM. And we have now changed the business from just being a traditional box-pushing VAR to more of a solutions-based, services-led company. And our main goal is to help our customers, to make themselves more efficient, to drive down their costs, and to give them an advantage over their competition. So this is what we achieve through the solutions we put together with our customers, and that's our goal for helping you guys to be more successful. We have a focus on three primary areas. Cloud solutions, which is what we're going to be talking about, one of these type of solutions today. And that is not only public cloud, but also private cloud, and the hybridization of the two types of clouds. So a lot of problems right now that people are experiencing is, we've added a public cloud to our infrastructure, and now we have to manage another platform. So we work with our public cloud vendors and our private solutions to help bring some synergy and efficiency back into that process. And I think you'll see some of that today as well. And then the second category that we work in is data management solutions. And this is really the full life cycle of data. It's not just capacity, but it's also solutions that are going to come about due to the new business requirements around things like regulation, retention periods, archival, disaster recovery. We work with customers across the board to help them find new ways to manage this ever growing size of their data pools. And then the final core area that we focus on is support services. Our support services are really founded off our old relationship with Sun through the old Service Manager program. Unfortunately, Oracle did away with that program, but we still offer this service. And what this is we take the support call from our customers to our own internal help desk and provide the escalation and the call routing directly to our customer. And what this prevents is it prevents the finger pointing, it prevents the customer from having to chase down contract expiration periods, et cetera, We provide all that service to you. And in addition, we also offer traditional help desk services, third-party maintenance, and another number of other really customer-focused, customer service-focused, products to the marketplace today through our help desk. So I mentioned we diversified, and we diversified across a pretty large number of different vendors here. So before we were really focused on Sun. Now we've added HP and IBM and Oracle's through the Sun acquisition, but also a lot of the software partners as well. So we focus on a lot of these solutions that are mainstream in the industry, and we maintain a very high level of expertise with each of these. So I mentioned our help desk. We have a number of rewards for that. But we're also making the top awards for just VAR community in general. So the VAR 500 is kind of like the Fortune 500, specifically for the value-added reseller market. and Unitiv has made that list the last 2 years. But in addition to that, we have the Sierra Tech Elite, and the Sierra Tech Elite award was based on who the editors at Sierra believed had the right vision and the right model to move forward and help their customers progress in this industry as the industry is growing today. So we're very proud to have made that list. And the 2 awards that you see on the bottom there are specifically for our help desk. We, year after year, receive awards for our help desk for customer service management, and for customer satisfaction. So with that being said, that's it for Unitiv's presentation. To give you a little history about us, I'm going to turn it over to Dixie. Dixie, if you want to go ahead and take over and tell us a little bit about your product.
Hi, well, good morning. Thank you so much for having us in to share with you. And I am just going to bear with me momentarily. Well, my apologies. I'm trying to get the screen. There we go. Okay. So can everyone see my screen?
We sure can.
Okay, fantastic. Well, so thank you very much. Object storage is a new IBM offering that addresses the public cloud storage solution area. So we're pretty excited that we've been sharing this. It's brand new to the market, and I will click through here to go to our next slide. Now, object storage, just an overall kind of what is it? It's storage in the cloud. There is a huge market now for getting as much off the floor or into the cloud or being able to do new things with storage. Traditionally, storage has been, time-consuming, very cost-consuming, and not something you can do very much with, right? I mean, storage kind of is a big investment, but it's not very flexible, especially when it comes to unstructured data. Unstructured data, and I have on the slide here some comments, data growth being explosive. And as a customer, of course, you know that the unstructured data of those video files, the text files, email, Twitter, all of this new technology, especially if you've got images and things that you have to carry in video feeds and things of that nature, they just get very large very, very quickly. Gartner is expecting that data growth right now in unstructured data is about 10 times what the traditional growth of your standard or your structured data is. So it's huge, right? And how do you go and store that data? So that's the big market question, and the big industry trend is going and figuring that out. So this slide just gives you some examples. That the business is expected to grow 800% in the next 4 years, in storage needs for the traditional customer. So how does IBM go and address that? Well, with all of these, the enterprise need for robust storage, there are solutions out there, cloud being one of them, and security is a very big concern. So IBM partnered with Nirvonics, and I will just move to this slide here on Nirvonics. Nirvonics and IBM became partners and announced a partnership in October. Now, since then, we've been going out and speaking with partners and customers and letting them know about the relationship. But essentially, it's a 5-year agreement to start out with where IBM has created an entire solution called object storage built on the underlying Nirvonics technology, but combined with all of the IBM support and services. So just to clarify, it's not a traditional reseller agreement. It's a true OEM product, and it's built on the architecture of Nirvonics. So this slide, just talking with you about Forbes, Forbes magazine and some of the write-ups and how they're saying this is going to be a game changer in the industry, and really the way to look forward is by looking at IBM object storage. So where does this fit into IBM? Because IBM has quite a few storage solutions, clearly. This fits into the IBM SmartCloud-Enterprise. So sort of at a glance, the SmartCloud-Enterprise has a cloud compute environment, and then separately it has the storage environment. There are two storage environments that tie directly to an instance, and those are persistent storage and ephemeral storage. And those, again, a little bit separate than object storage. Object storage we're talking about today is really geared towards unstructured data, and it's geared towards that archive, rarely accessed data, or if you're looking to, back up off-site, DR types of things, mass amounts of storage in the cloud. So we just wanted to clarify kind of where those different offerings are, kind of something for everyone. The model, too. The model is, down here at the bottom of the slide, the model is pay-as-you-go. So again, a game changer in the industry that you have something that's very unique, new technology, which we are going to cover here in a second, but also the way that you go to market here is that it's a pay-as-you-go model, so you only pay for what you truly consume, right? Completely different than how we're used to going and getting storage today, which is you buy what you need, and sometimes it's there, and then you wait to fill it up, or sometimes you fill it up so quickly, right, and then you go through the acquisition process of getting more. So this is a nice, convenient way to do it. We do say that the capacity, from a capacity standpoint, is unlimited, because at any given time you have a petabyte of storage that you have access to when you do sign up. So pretty exciting capabilities there and flexibility as well. All right, moving on. So what is object storage? We have conveniently renamed a file to an object. So it's really just a file system, but it's in the cloud. And that storage is delivered just as a service. So in that way, it's a pretty simple idea. From a more complex standpoint, though, it's pretty exciting technology. The ability to be the first company with the Nirvanic technology underneath, the first company to be able to bring this enterprise-level storage to a customer enables all kinds of flexibility you couldn't do before. So now you put your PDFs and your videos and any kind of digital content and all of this into the cloud, and you can now share it, you can move it, you can do large files where typically other solutions today, or historically, have been limited by size, right, and bandwidth, obviously. This is a breakthrough. But again, from a simplicity standpoint, just view it as a file system that's now, in the cloud, so it's off of your own location. By the way, it does support Windows and Linux-based, so anything that's a Windows or a Linux-based file, it does support. Okay. All right, so what is so great about this technology? Because out there today, there are many different cloud vendors all telling you that they have the cloud of the future, and so how would you differentiate? Some of the other press releases we don't have in the slideshow here are that this technology is 18 to 24 months ahead of the rest of the market. And those reasons are kind of right here on this page. So number one is security. The largest barrier for most of the customers we ever speak to about getting into the cloud are security. It's the number one barrier. It's the number one conversation piece. It's the, are they going to make the decision or are you not going to make the decision? Military-grade security standards. We do this in a couple of ways. You can encrypt your data as it goes into the cloud. We also encrypt it in flight. And then we also, we call it obscurification, but we de-identify the data when it gets into the cloud. The metadata goes to one location, sort of the brain of the technology, and all of the other data goes to the node. So the simple way to view this is if someone were to in any way ever get to that metadata, they're only going to get metadata and tags, useless really information. If they were to ever get into the node or the base storage, again, it's unidentifiable to them. So that unique technology just enables a lot of functionality and features and things that no other solution is doing today in the cloud. So again, pretty exciting stuff. From a security standpoint, around the data, we do data integrity testing. We do all kinds of intensive, laborious things to make sure that not only is this extremely secure, but it's also highly available for you as well. And by the way, these are, so the nodes are located, we have Frankfurt, Germany, and Secaucus, New Jersey today, with several more set to come online in the next few months, within the 2012 year, and then many more following after that. These are in your Tier 3 data centers, again, back to top-of-the-line security on every piece and part of how your data is looked at. Now, moving on down, self-healing cloud. So what is that? Self-healing cloud is, again, this is probably the most important page of everything that we'll talk about today. What makes this different than anything else you'll find on the market? The self-healing cloud, essentially, when you have your data in the cloud, let's say that you have one copy in Secaucus, New Jersey, one in Frankfurt, Germany. We do integrity testing. We do the NV5 hash testing so that we know when that data comes in if it's right, if there's a bit drop, if there's a corruption in a file. So when you ask for the data, let's say that you're in LA and you ask for the data, and it will pull from the closest version. If there's anything wrong with that version, the core, the brain of the technology, instantly knows to go to the next copy. Once it brings you back your correct copy, it then sort of goes on a mission to self-heal the other copy. By the way, this is all seamless to you as a customer. So finally, you have data integrity, consistency all the time, and you never know the difference. So unique technology, pretty exciting, especially if you're used to the world of tape, right? Because you go through the process, you find the tape, there's some corruption or something, and then you have to go look for the next copy, and it's very time-consuming. So this is easy, painless, and it's all behind the scenes. Global namespace. Global namespace, you have a lot of technology out there claiming to have a global namespace. Object storage, the way we define the global namespace is that you can load your data one time in one location, let's say New York, and access it anywhere within the speed of the internet, so even in Asia Pac. This opens up a whole new world with some other, traditional technology or even some of the more advanced technology that is out there. You would have to load your data maybe up to 4 times in 4 regions, and you would have 3 passive copies of that data, and you'd have 1 active copy. So when someone uploads it in New York, it would then go to the next region, the next, and you would pay for those bandwidth charges between, and you would pay for the additional copies. This solution takes all of that off the table. It completely disrupts that entire traditional process because you load the data once, it is seamless to you, and it's available instantly anywhere. Now here's the way that we do that. So if you typically would be in, let's say in Europe, for example, and someone loads the data in Europe, and typically obviously it's going to go to the Frankfurt, Germany location, and someone in New York would like to get that data, they would traditionally go to the Secaucus, it would ping the Secaucus, New Jersey location. In this scenario, the core is smart enough to know that that's not the latest copy of data, so it instantly goes to the Frankfurt, Germany. What's great about that is you never have to redirect it. You don't have to do anything. It's always the latest and greatest copy. So the moment that it's uploaded is the moment it's available. This is really great for companies that have a lot of digital media, things they need to share, if you're working on a collaborative project, things of that nature, because then you can have one group of your team working in one side of the world or even one side of the country. They can be uploading their information, and then within a matter of 50 milliseconds, the speed of the internet, whatever it is, the bandwidth you have access to, it's instantly available. So the days of sending a disk, couriering a disk over to someone with the latest changes, or trying to load something into an FTP site to give everyone access, and all of those things are no longer the standard base because now this technology is out there. So pretty unique, and again, go back to the difference between all the other solutions out there. This is the only one that you can truly load at one time and have it available anywhere in the entire world. Data consistency, you change it once and it's available everywhere. We sort of just talked about that. But here's what I have to say from a deal, I guess I say game changer a lot, but it really is, because you have to think about it's completely different than how we're all used to doing business. When we're responding to RFPs, there's typically a place in the RFP that will say, what is your SLA on data consistency, or the SLA if there's a DR event, is it 15 minutes, is it 5 hours, that you have that latest data available if something were to happen. This is where it's totally different. That question actually is answered that is not, there would be no impact. Because if you have your data, let's say in Secaucus and Frankfurt, and all of Secaucus goes down, the core knows automatically to go to Frankfurt, Germany to get that data. So it's a dual core, dual node, RAID 6, dual configurations, all the way out through the technology. So the redundancy here and the capabilities are just unmatched right now with other technologies. It's pretty exciting. So we go back to it's active-active. There are no passive elements, you know, from your standpoint as a customer. If you request the data, it's there instantly. So again, pretty new. Highly granular multi-tenancy, and there's a slide on this here in a second that shows it really easily. But you can divide this storage up into many storage pools, millions of subdomains. So this would be child accounts. You have your large master account, and you can give administrative access rights to, you know, the select group for that. But underneath that, you can have child accounts scaling out with child accounts underneath those, underneath those, underneath those, literally to millions of subdomains. This opens up a whole world of possibilities with your storage, because traditionally storage, you sort of, you know, you can divide it up a couple of ways, and you give administrator rights, but the ability to scale out in multi-tenancy is just not there with traditional storage, which is why cloud is so fantastic, and why object storage just is, you know, leading the charge. Because now you can divide it up. You can have storage pools for each employee. You can have storage pools outside of your business for each one of your customers. If you want to give access to, you know, other businesses, other customers, you can now share out individual child accounts. You now can do accurate chargeback. You can pull data reports of bandwidth, usage, all of these reports within a matter of seconds, really. It's a very simple and easy way to do all this reporting. And you can do that without having to add any additional staff or having to do anything more complex. It's self-managed, but it's very simple to do. So now we have municipalities, for example, and counties and governments using this as they have maybe water, you know, or utilities or fire and rescue, and each one of them has their own grouping of child accounts, and underneath that they've got them separate, you know, out into different divisions. And now they can do an accurate chargeback every single month to, you know, to their end users, right, or to their customers, or to their partnerships. So pretty exciting to be able to do that. You couldn't do that with traditional storage in the past. Self-provisioning, we sort of just talked about that. A lot of these kind of go in together. And end-to-end network visibility and management. Essentially, it's your data. Then you have a gateway, which is provided, by the way, comes with your storage. And then it goes straight to the cloud. And we have already talked about the military-grade security. We really like to talk about that because it's just so key that this is a true enterprise secured option. And again, you know, there are other solutions out there today that, you know, your employees may, you know, dropping storage onto all kinds of different sites. How do you manage that? How do you manage it if they leave the business? How do you secure that content? How do you get it back? This is the way that you can do that in a very secure way. Every single user and child account has a username, password, and a 128-bit key, authentication key. So we use a two-factor authentication all the way down to the most multi-granular, scaled-out multi-tenant. So pretty secure, and again, no one has access to any other child accounts unless they're underneath, you know, the main pool. So they're very secure. All right, this is security that we just talked about. We have a lot of slides in here in case I needed them for backup, but I'll just breeze right through because we've already talked about the file obscurification and the different layering here of the security methods. This again is the data protection that we already talked about with the file integrity checking of the MD5 validation, and this is the multi-tenancy that we talked about. So this is sort of a quick view of it. Obviously, this is not multi or millions of subdomains, but this shows you how you would do this. So what we like to see now is customers are creating an opportunity within their own businesses to sort of be their own services provider in some cases. In colleges, for example, we are seeing this as a big use case where the colleges are saying to their individual divisions, we will make a terabyte or 2 terabytes or whatever that storage space is, we'll make that available to you. We'll give you your own child account, and when anyone logs in from that department, they can see their capacity. And by the way, you can set this capacity very easily yourself, and you can set it to show they have 2 terabytes or 10 terabytes or up to a petabyte, right, to show them that. And they're saying, here's your monthly fee. Now, here's your monthly service fee every month, whether you use that or don't use that. And so now for some of the universities that we're seeing, they're using this now as a profit center. They've become their own services organization within their own company. So some pretty exciting things, again, that you couldn't do with traditional storage. So it's nice to be into the cloud world and be in that next generation of technology. All right, so how do you use this mostly in your business? You would think about using object storage anywhere you would traditionally use storage in these categories. So offsite data protection, if you've got legal hold compliance, things where you need to keep anything for a long period of time, or if you've got data that you just don't access very frequently, even if your hold on it is going to be, a year, 2 years, or not even going to be significant, into the 20-year mark or anything of that nature. Anything that you want to take your hands off of, anything you want to know that it's secure, it's there, this is a great way to do that. And the offsite protection of, baked in sort of disaster recovery model into having it off your own location. And a tiered storage model. So if you're trying to optimize how you're doing storage, we work with a lot of customers that have very expensive NAS storage, and they're putting everything on this NAS storage, and that's the way they're doing it today. And they're really trying to prioritize which storage is going to go where and create more of a tiered storage model. This is an ideal way to put, this would be your Tier 3 backups or your Tier 4 archive type storage that you would target for this. And the last one that's the really big one is collaboration, because the mind can really just, get so creative when you think about in a business having something significant, a large file, large number of files, even a small file for that matter, but to be able to collaborate instantaneously from the moment you upload a file, whether it's a gaming company or a video company or a publication type company or any company that has, any type of unstructured data that they need to share. It's not traditionally easy to share data. File sizes are typically limited, bandwidth typically slow, those kinds of things. This enables you to share across the world with the speed of the internet in a matter of literally milliseconds. So pretty exciting, and a lot of the reference conversations we have for some of the accounts that are doing this today are such as NBC Universal. They've said they've saved millions from a standpoint of piracy even, that now instead of couriering their disks when they have to edit them, because for example, Singapore edits very differently than they would in New York, for the same movie. So they courier these, and then they get picked up, and then the piracy happens, and all this kind of things, and it takes a long time, a much longer time, to get the disks right over to another country. In this way, they lock it up nice and securely in their in their storage account, their technology storage. They have the user controls around it, and all of a sudden, what a difference this makes. So they've told us, and they are a reference, and they'd be happy to speak with any customer at any time, that this has saved them millions. And now they've expanded across their entire business. They began as a 40-terabyte opportunity to protect some gold images of some older archived films that were almost burned down in a fire, so they were very concerned about getting this done right away. That was their single project, 40 terabytes. They now have grown to over 2 petabytes and are finding new use cases in their business all the time to share content and protect their data. So, pretty exciting stuff, again, that you can do with this technology. Okay, and again, we just talked about this. I put a lot of slides in here in case we needed them. But this is just talking about, the permanent archive here of your storage. Just offload to the cloud. If you've been doing tape and you're looking to get, to the new technology, looking to get things off-site, perfect to do that. And then a reliable, scalable backup solution. Because we go back to, this is pay-as-you-go, capacity on demand, and it's, if you need a terabyte today, you have a terabyte today. Without sending any sort of requisition order or doing anything, if you need 5 terabytes tomorrow, you have 5 terabytes tomorrow. Well, within a matter of minutes, honestly, to be able to go in and just upload it. So the capacity on demand, the endless ability to have capacity when you need it, and to scale up and down. If you need a great deal of storage today and then a project ends and you no longer have ownership or need that same data stored, you scale it up and down as you like. Again, not typically possible to do that with traditional storage, so a game changer as far as that's concerned as well. And then these are just some other, I wanted to make sure again that I put in slides for backup here to talk with you about other capabilities with the cloud, what people are doing today from a, whether it's videos or recording studios, things of that nature. There's a large gaming company that came out with their latest game, Probably all of our kids want it because it's a popular one. But they said they came to market almost 6 weeks faster with their game because they were using this technology. So for all their code, all the coding team that they had working in different parts of the world were able to do their collaboration much quicker. So again, the capabilities far exceed what you could do with traditional storage in the past. This is some press coverage, right? It's letting you know that, hey, some of the other competitive companies out there that are offering technology, and where does object storage stand out? It is unique technology, again, 18 to 24 months ahead of the rest of the community, partnered with IBM on this technology, and the extensive service and support and capabilities of the companies together. The solution is not available anywhere else in the world today except through this partnership. And I put this in here very, very quickly just to kind of give you a view of what are some of the top competitors, right, that we see. And I won't go through all of them, but this sounds a lot like some other solutions that are out there. And you may be looking at an Amazon solution, or you may be thinking about a box solution, and you wonder, well, this sounds a lot like that. How is it different? The differences are in those places where we talked about on, for example, the global namespace, to load it one time and have it available everywhere without having to load it and copy it into 4 regions and pay those bandwidth charges and pay those, the storage unit cost to have 4 copies, right? You need to upload it once, and it's available everywhere with this technology. Again, it does have the capability. If you want to have little individual storage pools or storage boxes for every employee or every student on a campus or something of that nature, you can do that as well. So the short answer is that with the other technologies that are out there today, either object storage goes much further ahead in the technology, which gives you some great benefit, or it does multiple things where you may stack up 2 to 3 other competitors to get the use case capabilities you can with object storage. That's just how that looks. I want to give you just quickly, and I want to be respectful of time in case we have questions that we need to go through here. But conversations of how do you maximize those use cases? How does your data get to the cloud? We have a couple of different options there for you. So baked into the solution is Cloud NAS. Let me go down to Cloud NAS. It should have been at the front. Cloud NAS. This comes with your storage. So the price per gig includes Cloud NAS. Your partner or IBM will help you set it up, and it literally is a gateway from the way you're doing storage today, and you just load it straight into the cloud. Very, very simple protocol, pretty easy to do. It is enabled for encryption, multi-threading to speed up the bandwidth capabilities that you have, etc. And this is the traditional standard gateway that we have. Now, going back, I will show you there are some other gateways that are at an additional fee to be able to do additional use cases. So for example, this one is Oxygen Cloud. If you have the need to get these storage pools and capability on a smartphone, mobile devices, iPads, things like that, and you're worried about how are you going to share secure content outside of your own VPN, outside of the business, on these smartphones, how do you do that, and how do you make individual, customized views and an easy console, easy portal access for your business or for your employees? This is the way that you would do it. This is Oxygen Cloud. So again, all possible. And then Panzera is another file system. It's more of it's a gateway that has the capability of either coming as a VM or as an appliance, and it has capability of caching on site. So if you need 30 days backup on site, and in addition to that, you also need the rest of it, after that 30-day mark, everything else goes into the cloud. You want to actively ping and have access to that 30 days, you could cache on site here with a Panzera file system. And again, all of the benefits that you have with object storage are still achieved with all these gateways. These gateways just can add additional features and functionality such as dedupe and things of that nature, multi-threading, so that you have significant speeds, to getting those large amounts of data in the cloud. Twin Strata, very similar again to the Panzera, a little bit different, but it also does the dedupe and some of the other encryption pieces, and it supports getting larger amounts of data into the cloud faster and caching locally on site. Now, there are some other data movers, as we call them, Symantec and Commvault. Both of those, I'll show those that have already coded to our API. So if you already today have Symantec, the versions that are supported, or Commvault versions are supported, you don't even need Cloud NAS. You can literally do business exactly the way you do today, and it would just look like another drive, maybe an F drive or a K drive, whatever the case is on your system. So, and to clarify too, how is this going to look on your system or your employee system? This is going to be mounted as just another drive, and they're going to back up and do storage the way they do it today. It's a lot more simplistic to get this set up than you'd imagine for all these capabilities. You can make it very simple in saying this is just storage that's now off your floor, that's a pay-as-you-go convenient model. Or you can say it's very complex and that, hey, now we can do all these profit center models and offer service to our own end users internally, and the complexities of collaboration and all of those interesting pieces. It's a very flexible and a very unique technology because of that. So here are kind of the key takeaways of the solution, right? It's battle hardened because this is second generation cloud service technology. It's now getting mainstream attention because it's a solution within IBM. But we've sort of been there, done that, and really working to perfect this new technology in the industry. It's your ability to eliminate CapEx from your storage environment. Instead of those large migration expenses and knowing that that's on the way, and knowing that every few years you're going to have to make that that investment. This is a pay-as-you-go, grow as you go, right? And we worry about that back end. We worry about the aging hardware and the migrations and the all that stuff for you. So it's a hands-off, easy button, as we like to call it. The ability to eliminate the maintenance and the tech refresh, or the tech refresh fees in certain parts of your data. Now again, this is going to be focused on your archive, Tier 4, kind of rarely accessed, or mostly in those areas, or the backup that you need to get off-site, those kinds of things, or a third copy, a second copy that you need, a backup copy from a DR standpoint. But if you can put any amount of storage into this technology, the expense, the time, and just the the attention that you're going to save by doing that is going to be a game changer to your current environment. Here are some of the other businesses today, the reference accounts that are leveraging this technology, this underlying technology. So you can see some pretty large names there and how they're doing it. A lot of them working with the collaboration capabilities of this. But again, we're growing. We're working with IBM and great partners like Unitiv to try to get the word out to all of the customers that there's something new. There's a new kid in town, and it's something that will make your life easier, more manageable within your business. So that's all for me. I appreciate the time to be able to share, and it's certainly open to any questions.
So I'm going to put the screen back up here so everybody can see. So this is just some follow-up information. We'd like to get back in touch with you. Our business development manager, Sam Redegan, will be touching base with everybody. But we'd like to go through some questions. Dixie, did you have any questions that anybody shared with you that you'd like to go over?
You know what? I don't see any questions now.
Okay, so the only one I see is the chart's going to be made available. So we'll absolutely, anybody that would like these copies of the presentations, we will send them to you. That's perfectly fine. We don't want to send them out to just everybody because that's a lot of megs of information in your email boxes, and some people get upset about receiving large attachments. So when Sam reaches out to you, if you'd like the slide deck, we'd be happy to send it to you. Just let her know, and we'll get you a copy of that. Other than that, we appreciate your attendance today. The first 50 attendees will receive their gift cards, and those will be sent out through Samra and Crystal as well. So thank you very much for attending today, and keep in touch. We'll be having additional webinars in the future, and we appreciate your attendance today. Have a good one.